My name is Robert Kunz. I'm the VP of Research and Science for First Endurance. I'm here with Karl Meltzer. He's one of our elite ultra-distance runners. Karl's been with First Endurance for 3 years now.
3 years.
And in that span, he's won 18 races and set course records at 7 of those races. Is that correct?
7 times, yeah.
7 course records during that time. Just in 2007 alone, he won 5 100-mile ultra races.
5 100s last year, yeah, 2007.
Great, and he's won. In addition to that, you won Moab,
Moab 34 mile. Yeah.
And you won the Hurt 100K, correct?
Yes, correct.
Excellent. Let me ask you, in your career, spanning back as far as you can go, what's your greatest accomplishment running?
It's basically a combination of a few things. I focused the last 3 years basically on running 100-milers, and in 2006 I won 600-milers, and that became like the world record of number of 100-mile trail races over a course of a calendar year. That was always been my goal for a long period of time, and finally to accomplish that was big for me.
And the previous world record was winning 5 100s?
Was actually 4.
4 100s.
And that dates back to 1991. And then in 2005 I won 4 that year, and then came back and won 6 in 2006.
Excellent. Do you have any thoughts on trying to up it by one more in the coming years, or is that something you've put behind you and you're looking forward to do something different?
It might be in the future plans. After this summer's adventure, I do kind of plan to run, or I hope to run, 1,200-milers the following year, one every month. Some people have done that kind of thing, but not necessarily the elite athletes. It's mostly been kind of the middle of the pack of guys that kind of just do it to finish, which is good too, but I'm trying to take it to a different level.
Great, great. Do you think now you're running the best you've ever run, or do you think you can get better, or have you passed your prime?
I don't think I'm past my prime. I think, though, since I've started with First Endurance, my level has really increased a bunch. All the nutrients, everything I've been eating, and everything's just improved. I'm kind of at my peak age now, but it's hard to say. I really don't think at 100-milers you really peak until you're maybe even 45.
Okay.
You don't have to run real fast, you just have to run all day.
And how old are you now?
I'm 40.
You're 40 years old, so you still have quite a few years to
run
in your peak.
Yeah, I'm still in there. I'm still in there, I hope.
Great. And now, what do you think makes you better than your competition? Is it mental? Is it physical? Do you have a talent for running?
The talent's obviously there, but I think the mental aspect is really a lot to do with it. I go into races, I don't necessarily focus on my competition all the time. I know I'm pretty much prepared for races, and I try to go in with a very low stress level instead of getting all hyped up and not sleeping the night before. It's more about just relaxation and just carrying yourself to the finish line.
Okay, you led a little bit into my next question. I was going to ask how you truly prepare for a big race. Physically, mentally, nutritionally? Is there something that you do that week leading up to the race that really gets your game on, so you're peak form for the race?
Well, I try to make sure I'm consuming lots of protein and foods the week before, and making sure that I'm very hydrated. At least a week leading up to a race, and then by the time I get 2 or 3 days out, I'm ready to go instead of cramming it all together at the end. But again, the stress level thing is part of the picture. You have to sleep and rest before races before you really actually race. I think a lot of people have problems with not sleeping the night before, and they get all hyped up, they go out too fast, and 60 miles into it, they're done.
Right.
The sleep helps a lot.
Great, great. Now, nutritionally, since you've joined First Endurance and started using our products, has your nutrition changed at all since before First Endurance and post First Endurance, both from the foods you eat and from the supplements you take?
My general food really hasn't changed much over the course of my entire life. I'm not a vegan, vegetarian, or anything. I eat meat like most people. But nutritionally, First Endurance has supplied me with the nutrients and the vitamins, the balance, the amino acids, the recovery product. Ultragen is incredible. As I recover so much faster now just taking all the nutrients. The Optogen helps it helps to keep the lactic acid out of my muscles. There's so many things that the combination of all the nutrients from First Endurance has really made me a better runner.
Great. Now, is there one product that really stands out that you feel, God, I can't run without this product? Is there one that really stands out from the First Endurance line?
Well, there's almost two, really. There's two parts of it. Optogen really really increases my level to just take oxygen in, you know. Just feels that way, and it feels great. And then to recover-wise, Ultragen, ever since starting to take that, I go for a run, 2 scoops of that, and then I continue with my day. It's amazing how well it works. Incredible.
So that's your 1-2 punch. The Optogen, Ultragen
exactly
allows you to train at a higher level.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now do you use all the First Endurance products, or do you focus just on those 2?
I use them all. I use the Optogen and the Ultragen more so than others. The Multi-V is a daily thing, so yeah, I use that every day. The EFS drink I use slightly sparingly during races. I mostly drink water and take my other nutrition in other ways. A little bit of gels, but mostly water, and then a little bit of EFS.
Great. Now, nutritionally, let's talk about race day nutrition. When you go into a 100-mile race, obviously that's a very long day. How long does a 100-mile race normally take you?
100s can last from an easy course to 15 hours, up to leading up to 30 hours. Even if Hard Rock would be the toughest one, about 30 hours. My best time there's 26 and change, but.
And that's a continuous. 18,
straight.
No stopping.
Yeah, just aid stations, but that's not really stopping.
How often do you see an aid station on a course like
typically every 6 to 8 miles. Some races vary. Sometimes you'll have 4 hours between aid stations. Back of the package could have 7 hours. But, you know, they're out there enough. You usually won't have to resupply water in the backcountry. So there's enough of them there.
Now, do you carry water with you in between aid stations, or you try to get it all in at the aid stations?
I'll carry 2 bottles of water, and usually I'll go through those 2 bottles between aid stations, and I'll pound a bunch also at aid stations as well, just to make sure that I'm always hydrated.
Okay, now what do you have in your bottles when you're running? What are you eating at the aid stations while you're running?
In my bottles, I have 1 bottle of ZFS, the other bottle would be straight water. During aid stations, I really like chicken bouillon. I think the salt is a good thing. I'll drink a quick Red Bull, and with the exception of that, I mostly eat gels on the run. I'll put them in my pockets and go.
Any solid foods during a long run like that?
I prefer not to eat solid foods. I think all the other nutrition I have going for me really works for me. I think a lot of people also do solid food, but also often those people, you know, they have problems with their bellies, you know. I don't know if the peanut butter and jelly sandwich is bad or whatever, but what works for me is the basic liquid nutrition mostly.
So even for 18, 20, 22 hours, you can go the whole race on liquid nutrition. Yep. A combination of gels, EFS, and water is pretty much all you take.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, are you one of those athletes that really pays attention to how many calories you have to take per hour during the entire run, or do you go more by feel?
I mostly go by feel, I think. I do know, I mean, generally speaking, I need to consume 300 calories or so per hour. And I focus kind of on that, and I know that if I hadn't had a gel or some more drink every 20-30 minutes, then I'm going to fall behind. The idea is to stay ahead of the ball game.
Now, do you find other runners out there that you compete against? Are they on a similar program, or does it vary quite a bit in ultra running?
I think it does vary quite a bit in general, but I think most of the elite athletes are going mostly with drink and gel across the board. I started doing this with just the drinks and gels like 3 or 4 years ago, and people would look at me and think it was kind of funny, but because I'm not eating real food at aid stations. But then I would last the whole 100 miles, and then all the faster guys started to do the same thing, and they're all kind of following me around.